Hello, my friends. My name is Shannon, and I'm one of our preschool Powered by Play teachers here at Green Trike. I am so thankful that you could join us today for a little bit of fun. One of my favorite things to do is to read, and so I thought today we'd start out with one of my favorite stories. And with our weather getting a little colder outside and snow starting to fall in the mountains, I picked one of my favorite wintertime stories. The name of this book is The Snowy Day. It might be a book that you even have at home or that you've been able to choose to check out at the library. The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. Thanks for following along. Can you see it all right? Oh, good. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit. Do you see it there? There's Peter. He's wearing that red snowsuit. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. There he goes. Wow, that snow is almost as tall as those buildings. That's a lot of snow. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out, like this. I'm seeing his footprints. And he walked with his toes pointing in, like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. Can you see them? One track for each foot, his right foot and his left foot. And then he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. Now we have 1, 2, 3 tracks. I don't think Peter has 3 feet. Let's see what he found. Oh, it was a stick. A stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Oh, I see a lot of snow in that tree. What do you think might happen? Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head, right on top of his hat. I wonder where Peter's going now. Let's find out. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. Do you see those snowballs in the sky? I wonder how many there are. I'm going to count mine. Okay, here I go. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see any more? Oh, here's one in this friend's hand. 7. Do you see any more? Oh, right there on Peter's tummy. 8. I see 8. I wonder if there's any more out there. So he made a smiling snowman. And then he made snow angels. His whole body in the snow. He pretended he was a mountain climber, and he climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow all the way up. It's a lot of work. And then he slid all the way down, up and then down. He picked up a handful of snow and another, and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. In the house with that snow in his pocket. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. That's kind. I think Peter knew just what to do to warm up his body. And he thought, and he thought, and he thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. Do you remember what he put in his pocket? Yeah, that snowball, right? His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. Where do you think his snowball went? What do you think would happen if you brought a snowball into your warm house? While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere, and new snow was falling. Those beautiful flakes. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. Wow, that is some deep snow. The end. My friends, thank you so much for sharing a story with me today. I am really excited for our next activity. My friend Cheryl has a project set up for us to work on. Before I get ready for Cheryl's project, I'm going to go ahead and bundle up a little bit because her project is a chilly one. I'm going to put on my nice warm hat. I'm going to put on something around my neck to keep my body warm. You're right, it's a scarf. There I go. Heading off for Cheryl's project. Thanks, friends. See you soon.
Well, friends, I like that story so much, and it sure is fun to think about. A snowy day, isn't it? Don't you hope that it snows this winter and we can go out and play in it? Thank you to Teacher Shannon for reading us that story and helping us to think about a snowy day. And now, while we're waiting to see if the snow falls, we can make some snow paint and have some fun playing with it to go along with our story. All we need to make snow paint, we need some blue or dark paper to paint on because that'll show up really well. We need some salt. And we need some flour, and we need some water. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix up equal parts, which means that it'll be the same amount of salt, the same amount of flour, and the same amount of water. So we'll be measuring. I have a 1/3 of a cup measure here, and I'm going to carefully put my 1/3 of a cup measure over my bowl so that if I spill a little bit, which I do sometimes, it will spill into the bowl. It already looks kind of snowy, doesn't it? And salt is kind of sparkly, just like snow. So all right, we have our 1/3 of a cup of salt, and here it goes. Snowing down into the bowl, and then I'm going to dip my measuring cup into my flour so that we have a 1/3 of a cup of flour. Oh, I'm going to snow that down too. Here it goes. Whoa, that's a big lot of snowiness, isn't it? And then the same amount of water, 1/3 of a cup of water. And again, carefully pouring it and holding it over the bowl so that if I drip, it will go into the bowl. And we're going to put that in there and mix it all up. make a snowy paint. And then we can paint with our fingers, or you can smear it around, or you could get a paintbrush if you'd like to. It's kind of a nice snowy consistency, which makes up the texture of it. So I'm going to dump a little bit on my paper, I think, and just start to think about what I can do with that, how to play with it. So I'm going to feel it with my fingers first, and if you use really cold water, maybe it will even feel cold like snow. Let's see how we can make it. We can make lines in it, or pictures, move it around, and just feel what that feels like. It might be good before you do this project to get washcloths so that you can clean your fingers off when you're ready to be done. But I was thinking about, so in the story, Peter made footprints, didn't he? I wonder if I can make footprints with my fingers by just putting, does that look kind of like footprints? Or maybe if I spread my snow out so that it's very even across my paper, maybe I can make a snow angel. I wonder if I move my fingers open and shut, and open and shut this way, and then maybe open and shut this way. Doesn't work very well, but maybe I can draw a snow angel the way that you do when you lay down in the snow. Do you remember playing in the snow, friends? That's kind of the way it looks, isn't it? So maybe you can draw in it. The other thing that Peter did in this story was to take a stick, and so that might be fun, to make some different marks in your snow with the stick and see what that feels like and see what that looks like. Maybe you use some different sticks and see how that changes the way the marks look on your paper. So I have a curly stick like this. I wonder if I can plant this stick. I wonder if it's thick enough that if I put a bunch of snow around it, I even have more here. If I put a bunch of snow around it, my stick will stand up, and I'll make a tree. I wonder if that will work. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Not every idea works. Have you noticed that? Are you going to stand up my little stick? Because I kind of want to. See, there we go. Maybe. Nope. It's gonna fall. Maybe if I put two other sticks around it, because I kind of wanted to see if I could put some snow in this like a tree, like in the story. Maybe I have to hold it to do that. But then I could put some snow in on it. Ooh, that's kind of fun. And then what did Peter do in the story? He took another stick and made it and knocked it off. But I think if I do that, it's going to get all over. Right? Computer screen. So there's another way to play with this snow, but I really just kind of like my tree felt paper. I kind of like the way it feels on my fingers and the marks that I can make. And so I would invite you to do that measuring and mixing up, and then just see what kind of a picture you might like to make, or what kind of marks you might like to make, or if you'd like to use a paintbrush, or make a sculpture with sticks and clay. I also am wondering if I added a little bit more flour, because the flour is what's going to make it pulled together. I'm wondering if I could make a snowball. So that's another thing that I think I'll test and see if I can make a snowball out of by making my mixture just a little bit thicker. What do you think? Do you think this is going to work? Maybe not. There we go. Oh, look at that. And this snowball wouldn't melt if I put it in my pocket. It would make a mess if I put it in my pocket, but it wouldn't melt. So if you make your snow paint after you're done playing with it as paint, if you make it a little bit thicker, you could make a snowball or maybe a snowman or lady out of it. So I'm going to make another ball here and put it on top of this. Like that, see? Stack them up. And then I could put a face on there or play with it like that. So there are just a lot of different ways that you can play with snow paint and have fun thinking about the snowy day, the story, and thinking about wishing for snow this winter and having fun playing in the snow. Let's see, I'm going to make one more ball and put it on the head, and then I think that I'm going to need to go and wash my hands. There we go. Look, it's a snowman in the snow. So I invite you to have fun playing with snow paint, just flour, salt, and water. And thank you for listening to our story today and for playing together. Bye-bye.